We at Unpoisoned America investigated some of the most popular bacon bits brands sold across America, and what we found completely changed the way we look at one of the grocery store's smallest but most misleading products. Most shoppers assume bacon bits are exactly what the name suggests, small pieces of cooked bacon. But here's the problem. Many of America's best-selling bacon bits contain no bacon at all. Instead, they're made primarily from textured soy flour, artificial smoke flavor, vegetable oils, colorings, and long ingredient lists carefully designed to imitate the taste and appearance of bacon. Read the label. You may think you're buying meat when you're actually buying a highly processed imitation engineered to resemble it.
Now, here's why this matters. Bacon bits aren't something people usually examine closely. They're sprinkled over salads, baked potatoes, soups, pizza, casseroles, and even scrambled eggs. Because they're used in small amounts, most consumers assume the ingredients don't really matter. That's exactly the mindset companies benefit from. The real issue isn't simply that some products are plant-based. It's whether consumers clearly understand what they're buying. If a package prominently says bacon bits, while the ingredient list reveals no actual bacon, you've been encouraged to make assumptions the label itself doesn't immediately correct. That changes everything. Transparency should never require detective work.
Before we begin, one important clarification. There's nothing inherently wrong with choosing a plant-based bacon alternative if that's what you intentionally want. Many consumers avoid pork for dietary, religious, environmental, or personal reasons. Our investigation isn't criticizing those choices. We're evaluating ingredient quality, processing, transparency, nutritional value, and whether marketing accurately reflects what's inside the package. Throughout this countdown, we examined ingredient lists, protein sources, added sugars, sodium levels, artificial flavors, preservatives, manufacturing philosophy, and overall value. And stay until number 1, because one product came surprisingly close to tasting like freshly cooked bacon using remarkably simple ingredients compared with most of its competitors. Number 8. McCormick Bacon Pieces Original. This is perhaps the most recognizable name in the bacon bits aisle, and it's also one of the biggest surprises in our investigation. Despite the familiar appearance and smoky aroma, these popular bacon bits contain no actual bacon. Instead, they're primarily made from textured soy flour, canola oil, salt, caramel color, yeast extract, artificial flavoring, and smoke flavor, along with several other ingredients designed to imitate bacon's taste and texture. Here's the problem. The front of the package strongly evokes bacon, while the ingredient panel tells a very different story. You're not buying crisp pork, you're buying a carefully engineered flavored soy product. Now, to be fair, McCormick doesn't necessarily hide that the product is meat-free. The information is available to consumers willing to read the packaging carefully. But here's why it still ranks at the bottom of our list. The overall formulation relies heavily on processing to recreate something nature already provides. Instead of starting with bacon, manufacturers start with soy protein and gradually add smoke flavor, color, fat, seasoning, and texture until it resembles bacon well enough for most shoppers. Read the label. Every added ingredient should answer a simple question. Is it improving nutrition or simply improving the illusion that you're eating real bacon? Another concern is sodium. Like many bacon-flavored toppings, these products can contribute a significant amount of sodium in a surprisingly small serving. Most people don't carefully measure bacon bits before sprinkling them over food. A serving quickly becomes 2 or 3. That means sodium, flavor enhancers, and processed ingredients increase just as quickly. The product certainly delivers a smoky, savory taste, but that flavor is largely built inside a manufacturing facility rather than coming naturally from cured pork. That's the real issue. Consumers deserve to know whether they're paying for authentic ingredients or for food science designed to imitate them as closely as possible. Number 7. Great Value Bacon-Flavored Bits. Walmart's budget-friendly version follows a remarkably similar formula. Once again, many shoppers expect tiny pieces of bacon because that's exactly what the product looks like.
Instead, the ingredient list centers on textured soy flour, vegetable oils, salt, artificial smoke flavor, caramel coloring, and seasoning blends formulated to reproduce the familiar taste of bacon. The lower price may seem attractive, but here's why affordability isn't the only consideration. When the primary ingredient isn't bacon at all, you're no longer comparing one bacon product against another. You're comparing different versions of flavored soy designed to imitate bacon, and that's a distinction every consumer should understand.
Now, here's why Great Value finishes only slightly ahead of our previous entry. The issue isn't simply that it's inexpensive or plant-based. The issue is expectation. Most consumers don't stand in the seasoning aisle wondering whether they're buying textured soy protein or actual bacon. They assume the answer is obvious. That's exactly why ingredient transparency matters. Read the label. If the first ingredient isn't bacon, the product should be evaluated as a flavored topping rather than a genuine bacon product. There's nothing wrong with choosing a meat-free alternative intentionally, but consumers deserve to make that decision knowingly, not after they've already brought the package home.
Another pattern we found was the heavy reliance on smoke flavoring. Real bacon develops its signature taste through curing, seasoning, and cooking. Processed bacon-flavored toppings recreate that experience by layering smoke flavor, salt, yeast extract, sweeteners, and colorings until the final product resembles bacon closely enough for most people. That's an impressive achievement from a food engineering perspective. But here's the problem. The more ingredients required to imitate a simple food, the further the product moves away from the original. That changes everything. You're no longer buying bacon in a different form. You're buying an imitation built ingredient by ingredient inside a manufacturing facility.
Great Value also reminds us why price should never be the first comparison shoppers make. Saving $1 on a package may seem like a smart decision until you compare what's actually inside. Two products sitting side by side can look nearly identical while being fundamentally different foods. One begins with real bacon. The other begins with soy protein and a collection of flavoring agents. That's a meaningful distinction. Your grocery cart reflects more than your budget. It reflects the kind of ingredients you're willing to bring into your home. That's why Great Value lands at number 7. It's inexpensive, but simplicity and authenticity matter just as much as affordability.
Number 6. Hormel Bacon Toppings. This brand marks an important turning point in our countdown because, unlike several products below it, Hormel actually uses real bacon in many of its bacon topping varieties. That's a significant improvement. However, here's why it doesn't climb higher. Real bacon is only part of the story. Depending on the specific product, you'll also find preservatives, curing agents, sodium, and additional ingredients intended to maximize shelf life and maintain texture after packaging. None of those automatically make the product poor quality, but they do remind us that convenience often comes with trade-offs. The closer a product gets to ready to use, the more processing is usually involved.
Now, let's keep the concerns in perspective. Bacon itself is traditionally cured using salt, and in many commercial products, curing ingredients such as sodium nitrite. These ingredients serve important food safety and preservation functions and are widely used throughout the meat industry. Our investigation isn't claiming that every cured meat product should be avoided. Instead, we're comparing products within the same category. When one brand relies on fewer unnecessary additions while maintaining quality, that deserves recognition. Read the label. Compare ingredient lists instead of assuming every package of real bacon pieces is essentially the same. Small differences become meaningful when you use these products regularly over time. Hormel earns credit for offering consumers actual bacon rather than an imitation. That's a major advantage over the fully plant-based bacon-flavored toppings lower on this list. Even so, sodium levels remain relatively high, and processing is still part of the equation. If you're sprinkling bacon over salads every day, those numbers deserve attention. Here's why that matters. People often think of bacon bits as a garnish rather than a processed meat product. But nutritionally, they still contribute sodium and other components associated with cured meats. That's why Hormel lands comfortably in the middle of our rankings. It's a meaningful step toward authenticity,
but it's not yet among the cleanest options available.
Number 5. Oscar Mayer Real Bacon Bits. Few names are as closely associated with bacon as Oscar Mayer, so expectations are naturally high. The good news is that many of its bacon bit products are made from real bacon rather than soy-based substitutes. That's exactly what shoppers hope to find when they see the word bacon on the package. So why isn't it in our top 3? Here's the problem. While the product starts with real bacon, it's still a highly processed convenience food designed for long shelf stability. That means curing ingredients, relatively high sodium, and processing remain important parts of the overall formulation. Authenticity improves, but simplicity still has room to grow.
Oscar Mayer also illustrates another lesson from this investigation. A product can be made from genuine ingredients and still benefit from careful comparison. Many consumers stop reading the label as soon as they confirm the presence of real bacon. That's understandable, but it shouldn't end the conversation. Read the label all the way through. Consider sodium content, serving size, and how frequently the product becomes part of your meals. Real bacon is certainly preferable to imitation bacon when that's what you're looking for, but the best products balance authenticity with thoughtful processing and ingredient restraint. And from this point forward, every remaining brand moves noticeably closer to that ideal.
Number 4. Members Mark Real Crumbled Bacon. Warehouse clubs often focus on value, but this product impressed us for a different reason. Instead of trying to imitate bacon with textured vegetable protein, it starts with real bacon and keeps the formula relatively straightforward. That's an important distinction because authenticity begins with the first ingredient, not the marketing on the front of the package. Even so, this isn't the same as cooking fresh bacon in your own kitchen. To achieve extended shelf life and consistent texture, the product still undergoes curing and commercial processing. Here's the problem. Many shoppers see real bacon and assume the investigation ends there. It doesn't. The ingredient list still deserves your attention.
Now, let's talk about what separates a good convenience product from a great one. The best bacon bits don't simply contain real bacon. They avoid adding unnecessary extras beyond what's required for food safety, curing, and freshness. That's where Members Mark performs reasonably well. It avoids the elaborate ingredient lists found in imitation bacon products while delivering the smoky flavor consumers expect. Read the label. The shorter the list, the easier it becomes to understand exactly what you're eating. That doesn't automatically make every ingredient healthier, but it does make the product more transparent. And transparency is one of the most valuable qualities any food company can offer consumers today.
Members Mark also demonstrates an important lesson about grocery shopping. Bigger packages and lower prices often receive the most attention, while ingredient quality quietly becomes an afterthought. That's backwards. Saving money matters, but saving money on a product that better reflects real food is even better. Throughout this investigation, we repeatedly found that consumers don't necessarily need the most expensive bacon bits. They simply need brands that resist unnecessary processing whenever possible. That's why Members Mark earns the number 4 position. It delivers genuine bacon with fewer compromises than many competitors. But the final 3 products take ingredient simplicity and authenticity even further.
Number 3. Fresh Gourmet Real Bacon Bits. Fresh Gourmet is better known for salad toppings, croutons, and meal garnishes than flashy advertising campaigns. Ironically, that may be one of its strengths. Instead of relying on oversized marketing claims, many of its bacon topping products focus on using real bacon as the primary ingredient, while keeping the overall formulation comparatively straightforward. Here's why that matters. Consumers buying bacon toppings aren't looking for a science experiment. They're looking for bacon. The closer a product stays to that simple expectation, the more confidence it earns in our investigation. Sometimes the most trustworthy products are the ones that let the ingredients speak louder than the branding.
Now, Fresh Gourmet isn't completely free from processing. Like other shelf-stable bacon products, curing ingredients, salt, and preservation techniques remain part of the manufacturing process. That's expected. The difference is proportionality. We found fewer distractions from the core ingredient and a greater emphasis on authentic bacon flavor instead of heavily engineered imitation. Read the label. Compare it with the products at the bottom of this countdown. The contrast is striking. One package begins with textured soy protein and artificial smoke flavor. The other begins with bacon. That changes everything, because ingredient order tells the story before the nutrition panel ever does. Now we've reached the point where every remaining product answers the most important question correctly. Is it actually bacon? But authenticity alone wasn't enough to earn the top position. We also evaluated ingredient restraint, transparency, overall processing, consumer value, and how closely each product resembled bacon you could realistically prepare at home. Here's what surprised us. The best brands didn't rely on louder marketing or longer ingredient lists. They relied on doing less. Fewer unnecessary additions, more respect for the original ingredient. That's a lesson that extends far beyond bacon bits. The more a company trusts the quality of its food, the less it usually needs to hide behind complicated formulations. And our top two examples prove exactly that. Number 2. Kirkland Signature Bacon Crumbles. Costco's private label brand has earned a loyal following for offering solid quality at competitive prices, and its bacon crumbles are no exception. What impressed us most wasn't clever marketing, it was the product's commitment to starting with real bacon, rather than trying to recreate bacon through soy protein and artificial flavoring. That's a meaningful difference. While the bacon is still commercially cured and processed for safety and shelf stability, the ingredient list remains noticeably more straightforward than many of the products lower on this countdown. Read the label. When the first ingredient is exactly what the front of the package promises, you've already eliminated one of the biggest problems we found during this investigation.
Now, let's keep our expectations realistic. Shelf-stable bacon products will almost always contain curing ingredients and relatively high sodium compared with freshly cooked bacon prepared at home. That's part of the preservation process. Our investigation isn't about pretending those realities don't exist. It's about identifying products that minimize unnecessary additions while remaining honest about what they are. Kirkland Signature succeeds because it avoids the elaborate formulations found in imitation bacon bits and instead focuses on delivering genuine bacon flavor through actual bacon. That changes everything. Instead of relying on artificial smoke flavor to imitate authenticity, the product begins with the ingredient consumers expected all along.
Number 1. Hormel Real Crumbled Bacon. After comparing ingredient panels, manufacturing approaches, consumer transparency, and overall authenticity, this product emerged as the strongest overall choice in our investigation. Here's why. It starts with real bacon, keeps the formulation relatively straightforward for a shelf-stable product, and avoids the complicated ingredient lists commonly found in bacon-flavored imitations. The company isn't asking soy protein to pretend it's pork. It's offering actual bacon that has been cooked, crumbled, and packaged for convenience. That's an important distinction because consumers deserve products that match the expectations created by their names. Sometimes the best product isn't the one with the most marketing. It's the one that stays closest to the original food.
Here's what ultimately separated Hormel Real Crumbled Bacon from every other brand we reviewed. Throughout this investigation, we repeatedly asked one simple question. If you removed the packaging, would this still resemble something you could realistically make in your own kitchen? For many imitation bacon bits, the answer was clearly no. They depended on textured vegetable proteins, artificial smoke flavors, colorings, and extensive processing to create the illusion of bacon. Hormel's product, while still processed for convenience and preservation, remained much closer to freshly cooked bacon than the alternatives we evaluated. It isn't identical to homemade bacon, but it respects the original ingredient instead of replacing it with an imitation.
Now, here's the biggest lesson from this investigation. The grocery store is filled with products that borrow the reputation of real food without always containing much of the food itself. Bacon bits are one of the clearest examples. Many shoppers assume they're buying small pieces of bacon when they're actually purchasing flavored soy protein, carefully engineered to taste smoky and savory. There's nothing inherently wrong with choosing a plant-based alternative if that's your intention. The problem begins when packaging encourages assumptions that only the ingredient panel corrects. read the label. A few extra seconds in the grocery aisle can completely change what ends up on your family's dinner table.
We've seen this pattern across countless grocery categories. Companies start with a simple food consumers already trust. Then they modify it for longer shelf life, easier manufacturing, lower production costs, or stronger marketing appeal. Sometimes those changes are justified. Sometimes they're not. Your job as a shopper isn't to fear every processed ingredient. It's to understand why it's there. Is it preserving safety? Is it improving quality? Or is it simply making the product cheaper to produce while convincing you it's somehow better? That changes everything. When consumers begin asking those questions consistently, companies have a powerful incentive to compete on ingredient quality instead of advertising alone.
At Unpoisoned America, our goal isn't to tell you what to think. It's to give you the information needed to make smarter decisions every time you walk through the grocery store. The next time you reach for bacon bits, don't let the front of the package make the decision for you. Turn it around, read the ingredient list. Ask whether you're buying real bacon or simply buying the flavor of bacon. The answer may surprise you. If this investigation helped you see your grocery cart differently, subscribe for more evidence-based food investigations, where we separate marketing from reality, one product at a time. And remember, the most honest foods usually require the fewest explanations.